What's going on, everybody out there, and welcome back to another episode of the Dark Avenger comic book review. This is episode 546, 4 away from 550, and the books we're reviewing in this episode were released on December 10th, 2025. Before we get into the books, though, really quickly, this video and the previous video, because I have both of them now on this camera by the time this recording's done, will be going up one day apart from one another. So you'll be seeing episode 545 one day, and then this episode 546 2 days later. We have some good news. We found out that the week of December 31st, which is next week as of the recording of this video, only 5 books are coming out. I think he has a couple and I only have a couple. So we'll be able to get that review out on time, even if we're recording the week of the 24th's books towards the end of this week. We will have caught up literally as the new year hits. So for the first week of January, we should be, fingers crossed, that we get all of our books read and we get these next 2 reviews out after this one. We'll be caught up to date, and ready to go in the new year. I'm not going to do an update video this time around because I don't feel like we really need to. You all know where we're going. We're looking to get this review on track. We're looking to get the hauls back within the next month or so. I will be switching our comics back to a weekly format, so this way we can do weekly comic book hauls again. Hopefully before the reviews, I don't know, because our physical books come a little bit later. We'll see. We're working on it. We're working on figuring things out. Eventually we will be taking trips to a comic shop instead of getting them in the mail, but for right now, just bear with us as we get into 2026. We were not prepared. Literally, I was not prepared that all this and he would be back. This all happened at the end of the summer, and we've been going ever since.
And all ends
of course. So we're going into 2026 kind of blind. We're winging it, but we'll get there. Hopefully by this time next year, we will have everything back on track as far as here. Also, streaming-wise, on Chaotic Blaze 86, I should be streaming again as of the new year. So if you're into gameplay, streams, I have a bunch of friends I'll be streaming with. I'll be co-streaming with everything. So if you haven't subscribed to my Twitch, go check that out. And then also we have Dark Avenger Gaming, which will be recording walkthroughs very soon. I know Mike's got a couple of games he has lined up. I have a couple of games lined up. That's basically where we're just going to sit down and record videos with each other. Maybe we'll have guests from time to time. And then Dark Avenger Entertainment, you've been seeing the videos popping up right along. I've done the Advent calendar. Well, we've done the Advent calendar this year. I did the Advent calendar last year. There will be videos coming up soon. There's a lot of really awesome stuff coming in 2026 for all the channels and Twitch. Anyway, now let's get into the books so we can get through this episode and get into the next episode. So that was your little update. I'll try to remember to put that into the description. But Gunslinger, Spawn Gunslinger, issue number 49, 1 away from 50. We get to see some shape-shifting action in this book because Gunslinger goes after a demon who can shape-shift and steals his powers. That's one of his things that he can do. However, end of this book, and this was one of the first books I read, so forgive me. I'm running on a little bit of a fractured memory when it comes to it. But the ending basically has him waking up possibly from the era he was born in. And we're going to find out what happens next in the next issue.
Valiant Beyond Bloodshot issue number 3. So we found out that the woman who was Lucille, I think that's what the little girl's name was, the mother is pregnant with a child. And Bloodshot is going up against somebody who is saying that I will kill you for one or two things. If the child is born normally, that he would be alive. But if not, because of the nanites and everything that's going on, then he would die. So basically they have a fight with each other and everything, and the person that comes out of the woman's body was no baby. It was a mutated creature that was very disturbing, but yeah, and then at the end of the issue, as they manage to escape from all that, this is actually the last issue because it said end.
Oh, so maybe they'll. So it looks like what they're doing. Yeah, it looks like what they're doing is a bunch of mini-series.
Right, like little story arcs. Yeah. So at the end of the issue, Bloodshot and the little girl, they get out and they try to get rid of all the nanites, and yeah. But this was a really great issue, and the artwork, as always, was really great. And can't wait to see the new story for that issue.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles issue number 13. As you all know, I love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So happy to be back in this series. However, I missed the first year's worth of books. Some point we'll find a way to catch up on those. However, somehow, Splinter's alive. And he doesn't have all of his memories. He's on the streets and he can't quite... He just knows he's afraid. Afraid of what? At first he thinks it's his sons, and then he's not afraid of his sons, he's afraid for his sons. We get this villain who shows up in the book, who is Death. Basically, if this person shows up, the person is meant for death. It opens up with kind of like a little gang war thing going on. So it looks like it's a new vigilante. The Turtles find out about this person, and find out that the next step is going to be to go after Baxter Stockman, possibly. So they go to protect Baxter Stockman. The vigilante says he's not there to hurt the Turtles. He's going to be one of their greatest allies. There's really great dialogue with the Turtles in here. There's a moment with the Turtles in April. Really, really good. I will say that I'm very happy with where the Turtles are now, as opposed to where the last series ended. Which, by the way, if you didn't get the Ultimate Collection, I think it's volume... Oh, God. I forgot the number. Well, the newest number that came out in September, or was it November? I'm sorry, it was November. That was the very final issue with the whole thing wrapping up. The series, all the miniseries ended. So if you haven't read TMNT, there's at least 18 volume hardcovers. Good luck finding the first 5. Those were the hardest ones to come by. I was lucky and I got them pretty early, but I would highly recommend that entire run. At least up until issue 100. Afterwards, things kind of fell off. This new series, however, really good. And we find out at the end, I'm going to spoil it because we're going into the new year. We find out that it's Splinter, after he puts on a mask, who becomes this mythical creature or this mythical warrior that brings death and is the Turtles' new greatest ally. And I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes in the new year. Hopefully we get books on time and not every other month like I believe we've been getting for the past 2 years. Because I believe this volume of Turtles started 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's just been coming out really, really slow. So we'll have to wait and find out. Love it. Great artwork. Really great story. I believe we're getting a new direction in the new year as far as art and story. We'll have to wait and see.
The Terminator Metal issue number 3. And basically, the cover says it all. I could sum this book in a few seconds. It's basically the new Terminator is introduced in this, and he is in the old Western. And they have this whole thing where they're trying to figure out how to, who this person is, because they don't know that it's the actual Terminator that's in disguise. And to be honest with you, the story was getting a little... there are some Terminator Metal books that were good. This one I just felt was just a little bit... I don't want to say boring, just kind of a little... It was just that part of the story, basically. But other than that, the artwork was good, and I'll see what the other Transform Metal story will be, and we'll see how that goes. And that's it for that.
Transformers issue number 27. We get to see a Decepticon defect over to the... we get to see the Decepticon that the Autobots saved defecting over to the Autobots. Cybertron, Ultra Magnus wants to step down and pass his title over to RC. Things are going really bad on Cybertron. You've got also Colonel Flag, who was taking off of the project with the Autobots. Obviously, we're going to be seeing him obviously turning evil at some point, because then Mask is going to come in, because Mask is who goes against Colonel Flag. So we'll be seeing that at some point. I feel like we're going to get a new book. There's some really great heartfelt lines in here. You could see, we finally get to see Optimus Prime back in full fixed form by the end of the book, and the direction for Transformers looks like it's going to be amazing in the new year. I believe starting in the new year we get a new creative team, or we already got the new creative team. I'm trying to remember I don't know if the team's on the cover. No.
The
Oh, yeah.
Oops.
Oops. And oops. Yeah, no, we got a new team because I know Kirkman's leaving. Robert Kirkman. I don't know. Either way, we're going to be getting some new stuff coming soon, so I'm looking forward to it. We're moving into Marvel Comics now, which Michael actually has most of Marvel. I have most of DC this week, but Infernal Hulk.
There's no DC for me, but yeah.
Right. Infernal Hulk issue number 2. So, Infernal Hulk goes to wake up his brother because apparently the Hulk is not Bruce Banner or David Banner or Bruce. Yeah, no, Bruce Banner. He's not Bruce Banner. He's somebody else. He wakes up his brother, and there's this big fight that happens, and he ends up converting the brother the same way he converted all the people in the first issue with gamma radiation. And it just looks like the Hulk is basically going to be the beginning of the end of humanity unless the actual Hulk takes back his powers. And the end of the book, we get to see Bruce Banner again, and I love the callback. He's called David in this book, just like in the TV series, The Hulk. I like that callback. It's an interesting book. Obviously, we have a plan here. Like, there's an end game for Infernal Hulk, and that's going to be for Bruce Banner to get the Hulk back, and whoever has the gamma radiation right now to be stopped. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. We'll see what happens next. Hulk as a horror book just doesn't work right for me. I mean, if they did a main Hulk book and then made a horror book, like as a red band book or as a side book, maybe, but it just feels weird seeing the Hulk as a horror book.
Right. Spirits of Violence issue number 3. So in this issue, we go back to the sister who Johnny is trying to get the sister to snap her out of being in the gang, who are known as the Spirits of Violence. That's the title. And in this issue, we get Johnny, who is trying to get a group of people to fight off against the Spirits of Violence, because there's just like this whole big thing, and he's just trying to stop them, because if he stops them, that's possibly how Johnny's sister will snap out of what she's going through due to that. So that's basically the whole thing of the book, just him trying to form a team. But at the end of the issue, since things go a little bit hectic, the only way to possibly stop this is if he has to kill his sister. Which was a huge cliffhanger to be continued. Really love the book and the artwork as well. Now I have 2 Punisher books that are in this review. We're going to start off with Marvel Knights The Punisher issue number 3. And what I noticed while reading 2 Punisher books, they've been trying to get into Frank Castle's mind. And I'll explain what I'm talking about. Because in this issue, we have the Kingpin, who actually is having this person as his experiment, trying to get into Frank Castle's head, to try to make him turn into either a good person or an anti-hero or something like that, while he's out doing what he does. So we get that whole issue of where that happens, and how can I say? It's like, that's really what the whole book is about. Like, he's just trying to get into his head, and now the person who Frank Castle goes to are 2 people in the truck saying, I need you to do me a favor. You're going to have to go into my brain and take out whatever it is that Kingpin has implanted in him to make him turn out to something that he's not. So that was a whole big thing for that one, of to be continued. The Punisher issue number 3 of, I believe, Red Band?
Yeah, it's 5 issue.
Yeah. And in this issue of the Punisher, once again with the mind control, we know that he's controlled by a certain medicine that makes him El Zombie. Because he says, I am the dead, I am El Zombie. And this person in the book is trying to snap him out of it, or try to find a cure for him so that way he could go back to being the Punisher. And there's just like a whole big thing in the issue where they're just getting him out of the cell, and then he goes back to the guy saying, what do you mean he's escaped? I had you guys looking after him, and now he's gone. And his wife's just saying, see, I told you, you should not, because he's just out there running around and all this and that. And, yeah. So now they're out trying to look for him. And as he's snapping out of it, of the medicine, Now he can go back to being Frank Castle or the Punisher, working with somebody with his head in the game rather than on messing and being a zombie. So, I don't know if the writers are trying to let Frank Castle be controlled, because I don't see that as his character, but if it's a new direction that they're going that he'll snap out of it, then it's a good story. Both artworks were great in these two Punishers. And that's it.
Mm-hmm. All new Spider-Gwen Ghost Spider, issue number 5. That title, every time I say it, is a mouthful. Grand finale for the first story arc here, everybody. I enjoyed this immensely. They find a way to stop the symbiotes. I'm not going to spoil how. Read the book to find out. It's nice seeing Flash in the book again. I really would love to see an Anti-Venom. Even if it's a miniseries, it'd be really nice to see Flash Thompson again. Because he's guest starring in all these books. He was in Amazing Spider-Man 2 weeks ago. He's in Spider-Gwen. I would love to see more of Flash. I really would.
Trying to do something with his character?
At the current time, no. He's more of a supporting cast to the Spider... You know, I've noticed the Superman family, the Spider-Man family. Like, back in the 90s and early 2000s, small rant, I'm sorry. Let me just say, Spider-Gwen, excellent book. Story ended really nicely. I like that a band is formed. A member joins and wants to push the band. They don't come up with a name yet, but they end up going to a concert. They end up playing a concert at the end of the book. Really great ending. Her Tarantula's saved. I won't say how, but Tarantula's father is missing, I believe. So now what's next? Spider-Gwen, amazing book. Highly recommended. Now, what I was saying was, it's kind of interesting how back in the 90s and the early 2000s, even a little bit of the mid-2000s, I think 2010s, a lot of the heroes were alone. Spider-Man worked alone mostly. There was like maybe, a little here, a little there. Ben Reilly, Kane, that's about it. Superman was completely alone other than Superboy, and then Supergirl came and went a few times. There were different iterations. So it was just Superman, Superboy, and then you had Steel, who was part of a team, but not a family, just Steel.
Yeah, but wasn't there the whole Spider-Man Chaos thing where there was like more than one Spider-Man?
Well, no, I'm going to get to that. And then I noticed that in the late like when we were about, like around the time where we were stopping the reviews, maybe a little bit before that, that was when a lot of the superheroes who were alone or who were married, but it was just them, started to build families. Now you've got the Spider-Man family, or the Spider-Verse as they call it, with dozens of different Spider-Men. You've got Miles, Gwen, Spider-Man, Ben Reilly, who goes by a different name now. Kane is out there somewhere. You got all these people who are part of, and you got Silk, and I'm remembering names as we're doing this, but you got like a whole Spider family, because they show up in Amazing Spider-Man, the last issue. And then on Superman's side, you got John, you got the 2 kids he adopted, you've got Supergirl, Power Girl, who's from an alternate universe, Superwoman. You got you've got like families now for each of these characters. It's very interesting how certain superhero, even Batman has like a whole family kind of like
Batman has a
circuit now. So it's like a lot of heroes back in the earlier days were just alone or had like 2 or 3 people that were part of their family. Now you've got like whole groups of like... It's a really great change in dynamic. I will say I'm not complaining about it, but it's amazing to see how they've evolved from where they were in the year 2006, let's say, to now where we're going in 2026. I am happy with the evolution, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Amazing Spider-Man, issue number 17. Pete finds the person that he was chasing after and gets all the questions it seems he needed in this issue. Once again, read the issue. I was a bit lost because, again, I didn't know why Pete went into space to begin with. I started this book because there's the countdown, because this is officially a Legacy issue 981. I wanted to jump in before 1,000, so I'd be there for 1,000, which is coming in 2026, crazy enough. But it was a really great issue, and it ends with Pete saying, I need to go home. And there's also a little bit of like back and forth between him and that girl that in the issue that made out. I don't think there's a relationship making there, but I think Pete was kind of swaying back and forth about it. Wouldn't it be great if in issue 1000 it undid Brand New Day? Like It's not going to happen. Marvel, I promise you it's not going to happen. Nobody take what I'm saying right now. But wouldn't that be nice if Marvel finally just said, okay, we're going to do what the fans want? Or maybe they had this in the works all along and they've been fighting the fans for the past 7 years. No, it's been longer. For the past 10 years because of it.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be great, everybody? Not going to happen, once again, but it would be... That would make... I would literally buy 7 copies of issue 1000. I would buy all the covers, except for the really expensive ones.
Well, weren't you probably going to?
1 or 2, but I would buy 7. I would buy everything that's under $25 if they put Mary Jane and Spider-Man back together.
All right.
Just because. That, or I'd leave a couple out and get 1 or 2 CGC. Like, I'd wait for them to come out of CGC so I could display them on my wall. Not going to happen again, but wouldn't it be great? I don't know what they've got planned for 1000, but obviously Marvel's planning something big since they keep talking about, the road to 1000.
Okay, so I got 2 X-Men Age of Revelation books.
And they're both conclusions.
They're both conclusions, yeah. So we're going to do Longshots issue number 3. So, Longshots of this issue... Basically, you know that there's a whole bunch of people that have been missing that Mojo is trying to find out where they are. So it's really Hellcat and Wonder Man who are going through this whole issue, and they're fighting off against this big gigantic thing that was supposed to be Galactus, but it turned out to be something else. So it's just basically those two trying to save the show and trying to keep the ratings to go up because the ratings are going down, and Mojo, like I said, he's going nuts, like saying, where's this person? What's going on here and there? And you really get this nice story between, Wonder Man and Hell's Cat, where they were once together, but then they broke up. As Wonder Man was one person and the other person, so he got dumped twice, as a hero and as a regular. And there was a little bit of a tease that they should have a story between those two. So there might be a hinting between that. But anyway, there's a really nice heart-to-heart moment between those two. And then at the end of the issue, which kind of made me laugh a little bit, they turned out from going from long shots to being long shots babies. In babies form. I was like, okay, and that was the end. Really great issues, though, of all 3. I really enjoyed it, and of course you see Longshot himself in there, and he's just being one of the funny characters in that issue. And the last issue here, Iron and Frost, issue number 3. So in the last issue we get the Iron King that actually destroyed War Machine, and they're basically trying to find out how to get the Iron King, who is deep inside Tony Stark. So we see Tony Stark actually coming in as a different robot to try to actually communicate with Emma Frost and try to stop the Iron King from doing what he's doing. Because he has a detonation thing that's going on that could blow up the whole universe, which could kill both Tony and the Iron King. And for other reasons of that, you have to read the issue, though. We get how Emma tries to stop the Iron King of doing what he's doing. Because, like, saying deep inside, I know you're in there and you have to stop this, please, because it's just like a whole big heartfelt thing. Like, this was another heartfelt issue. And then Emma Frost winds up, just going off. And then instead of listening to her words of stopping the detonation, he doesn't. Explodes, and then there's a little thing that says save, yes or no, and it's like an N question mark, so that could lead into something. But really great issues of 3. I didn't actually think I would enjoy the issue because, with Emma Frost and everything, but actually this was not a bad issue of all 3 issues, so definitely you'll want to check them out and see how it goes.
2 Ultimate books. I'm sad to see that this Ultimate Universe is going. There's a rumor. Some guy started a rumor thinking that the Marvel Universe is going to reboot because the Ultimate Universe is ending. Apparently, the Doom event that happened in Marvel that I missed out on is leading into the next event, which is kind of like an Armageddon. And this guy thinks that all of Marvel is going to reboot and it could have something to do with the ending of the Ultimate Universe. I don't think the Marvel Universe is ever going to fully reboot. I mean, DC's done it like 5 times and ended up right back at status quo. I think Marvel would know that if they did reboot, it would just end up back in status quo within a year to 5 years. So, I mean, if anything, I would love to see, like, if this is true that the Ultimate Universe is ending because they're fighting the Maker and then trying to undo what he did in the past, if anything, I would like to see it restart the Ultimate Universe back, like if the superheroes, started again. You know, the official way.
Wouldn't that not make sense, kind of?
Why? You go back and have all the events happen the way they were supposed to happen.
Oh, you mean like a
but
time
with slight
travel.
changes, right? You time travel to stop the Maker.
Part. Okay, so
you stop the Maker from
yeah.
stopping the superheroes from becoming superheroes, and then obviously there'll be slight differences.
Okay, so that makes sense now.
Ultimate Spider-Man 25.
23.
23. My head's in 25. The cover says it all. Spider-Man versus Kingpin. And he finds out from Spidey Ock that Spidey Ock sent his son on a mission to Kingpin's lair. And he's there with Felicia, and Pete goes to save him. Pete ends up going face to face with Kingpin. Unfortunately, Mr. Negative, who outs Peter Parker as Spider-Man to Kingpin, which you could tell that this is the end of the book when when the bad guys start to find out that who Spider-Man is. So you've got Kingpin beating down Spider-Man, Mr. Negative going after Spider-Man's son. Things not looking good for Spider-Man's son. Things not looking good for Spider-Man. However, the book ends with Pete basically saying, "This is going to end, and I'm not done yet." And it just shows him kind of like in his like final like. How do I explain? It's like one of those things. Spider-Man always, when he's knocked down and you think he's down and out, comes back with that second wind. It looks like Pete's on that second wind, but I guess we won't know until the next issue, which I think is the last issue or the issue after that. One or the other. Because Ultimatum is coming. I mean, no, that's one of the books that comes out the very last week of this month is the first issue of the Ultimate ending. Ultimate Wolverine issue number 12. Wolverine goes after Colossus and instead finds a mutant that's been trapped by them. Jean Grey, the Phoenix. So it ends with Wolverine. It basically ends up Wolverine saving Jean, who puts an end to Colossus, sends Magic running, and now we have no idea what's going to happen next, but Wolverine ends up leaving with Jean saying, this is kind of like a deja vu, like I've seen this before, and it's kind of funny because that's exactly what it is. Always, Wolverine always finds his way to Jean, and this time there's no Cyclops around, well, at least not in his book, so it's interesting to see that Jean and Wolverine ended up finding each other.
I think those two are good together, Jean Grey and Wolverine.
Yeah, well, it is what it is. Now we're in DC Comics, and now we're in the book that a lot of people talked about when it came out, and that is Absolute Batman issue number 15. Literally, it is the Joker. It is Alfred telling Batman the backstory of Joker. First, the official one, and then what he believes and what technically is true. That there are no ancestors, that Joker somehow is able to has lived through time, through magic and whatever. And I like how in this book, Batman is the one that's poor and Joker is actually the one that's a millionaire. Because he was the one that was at the beginning of filmmaking and theater. So his family came up with theater and TV. So that's where he made all of his money. So Wayne Manor is technically Joker's manor in the Absolute Universe. And it's not a bat cave, we see at the very end of the book, but a cave.
Wow, talk about opposite.
This is going to be very interesting to see when Joker and Batman finally meet. But
wow,
the Joker in this universe is dark.
Like
it's
very
very
dark. Oh wow.
Action Comics number 1093. We are so close to 1100. It's going to be crazy. Amazing how far we've come with this book. Superboy. His family ends up getting a foreclosure. I mean, it says it right there on the cover. But we find out that the bank is twisted. And Superboy finds out... Well, first Superboy goes and tries to get his parents gold so they can pay off their foreclosure or find a way to pay off their lease so this way they can get the house. And the parents are like, no, because if you didn't have your superpowers and you weren't Superboy, what would we do then? We'd be like everyone else. We find out the twist at the end, and of course, Superboy finds a way to save the day. His father semi doesn't approve because, once again, if he didn't have his powers, how would he have kind of figured it out? But we figure it out at the end. It's a nice one-off book. I really enjoyed it. And then it ends with Sam Lane, drawing up a uniform. Because remember, Superboy said, if you ever need me, I'll come and help you. So he's drawing up a uniform for Superboy, and it looks like in the next issue, Superboy is going to be called to serve. Air quotes.
Okay.
Excellent issue. Green Lantern Corps issue number 11. I really enjoyed this issue. We get a backstory for the person at the end of the previous issue. We get to see the Green Lantern Corps. There's a fight going on between the members of different corps. So we get to see them in action. We get to see other stuff going on where the Corps is now back in action. I love that Jon Stewart, as much as he wants to quit, can't quit. And there's a bunch of little connections and things that are setting up for what's going to be happening in Green Lantern Corps come 2026. Excellent story, excellent artwork. I'm really glad that I got into all the Green Lantern books. None of them have let me down yet. They truly haven't. It's been a blast. I know Green Lantern is in 2 weeks or 2 episodes from now, and I'm looking forward to reading Green Lantern teaming up with Batman. But Green Lantern Corps is an excellent book, something I definitely recommend, especially if you want to see all the different lanterns. All the Corps are there. The grand finale for Batman Gotham by Gaslight, A League for Justice. This is issue number 6. The 6th issue. 6 or 6. So Zod has been disposed of and imprisoned. Now Darkseid. And they find out they have to go into the Phantom Zone to stop Darkseid from escaping. So the Justice League goes into the Phantom Zone, gets betrayed by someone. Not going to spoil who, even though this is the last book. Not going to spoil who they got betrayed by. They got betrayed and almost stranded behind. However, one person knew they'd find a way out, which they did. And they decided to stay together, to band together whenever there is a great crisis like Darkseid to prevent that from ever happening on Earth. So it's the beginning of the Gaslight Justice League era. Justice League. I don't know if we'll see any more of this. We'll probably see more Batman by Gaslight at some point, I'm very sure. We'll see what happens in the future, but it was a good book. I enjoyed it. Again, I'm really happy to see Elseworld back. That's another thing I'm glad they brought back. I think they brought it back just this year, Elseworld. Yeah. Elseworld stories are always a pleasure to read, so I'm really glad to see that line is back. Now, I think I made a mistake with this. No, I didn't, because it's going to go all the way till... Yeah, there's only 2 more.
Like this in the other one.
Okay. 2 books for DCKO this week. Wonder Woman versus Lobo. It's a one-shot, so it's issue number 1. Boy, oh boy. I mean, you could tell who won. And if you couldn't tell it was Wonder Woman, I don't know what to tell you. But it was an intriguing book. Very intriguing book. We got to see Lobo through the eras. We got to see Wonder Woman through the eras again. Seeing the new 52 Lobo was interesting. But again, that's exactly what this book is. It's literally just the characters through their eras. And in the end, Wonder Woman wins. It was an interesting one-shot. If you're not a fan of Wonder Woman or Lobo, or if you're not looking to collect everything that's going on in the event, the DCKO event, an easy skip, unless you really want to know everything that's going on. Aquaman issue number 12, which is round 2, which is Aquaman versus Hawkman. Same as the Wonder Woman versus Lobo. Aquaman versus Hawkman. Best 2 out of 3. It is a knockdown, brawl-out fight. We get to see Hawkman. We get to see Aquaman. We get to see Aquaman tapping into the blue once again. And in this book, it's the Aquaman book. If you couldn't guess, Aquaman won.
I thought Hawkman would win, actually. Because he's got the power. How did Aquaman win?
Aquaman won because he has the power of the blue on his side.
Okay.
Interesting story. Oh, and in both books, both Wonder Woman vs. Lobo and Aquaman versus Hawkman once again. There is a story going on in the background, and that's the one with Booster Gold now possessed by Darkseid. So in the end of the last issue, last episode, we had him being bum rushed by a bunch of Booster Golds. Obviously, he gets free from them, and he confronts everyone in the room again. And then in the Aquaman one, he uses his Omega beams to kind of knock everyone out. So I guess we'll find out this week, because I know there's this coming episode, next episode, because I know there's at least 1 or 2 Versus books. The next part, because it's every book is like 2 pages of it, so we'll find out again the next 2 pages. KO has been going really well. I'm very happy with the event. I'm looking forward to the next Marvel event. Honestly, I just waiting for the Doom stuff to be over. And, I mean, they mentioned the next event, something to do with Armageddon, so I will definitely be looking at that. There's also 2099 The End. That's happening. It's either going to be a next episode or the episode after that. I will be reviewing that as well. Very interesting stuff for sure. Yeah. I could swear that it was this episode. I'm almost sure that the end was in this episode. If I missed it when I was doing my list, we will talk about it in the next one. In the next episode, yeah. Because I could swear that I could swear I read it. It was this week. It was this week. So really quickly, I'm going to talk about that without having the cover, unfortunately. Spider-Man 2099, in the era of 2099, Null. This is, by the way, this is the end. 29. Let me get the book real quick. I have the book. Talk to them for a minute.
All right.
You know what? Never mind. I'm just going to cut everything Mike said because he had no idea what he was saying. So I'm back at the seat now. So we're going to do this out of order. Hey, it happens every once in a while. This is The End, 2099 issue number 1. I'm sure y'all can see it. I really like this issue. I like this issue so much that you're going to be seeing a haul video either on here or on TikTok. Follow Dark Avenger Media on TikTok if you have TikTok. I will be doing videos on there. I forgot to mention that. I might do it. I might have to do an update video. We'll see. Maybe in the new year I'll do a New Year video. But this was a really interesting book. I liked it. I was curious because we had Spider-Man 3099 because we're getting very close to 2099. Let's be honest. We're getting there. And it's not the future that we thought we were going to have in the early 90s. So they're pushing, I guess, now for 3099. So Null has bonded with Galactus. And they are taking the dark or something from planets. And they're getting closer to Earth. So somebody goes to Mephisto. I won't say who. And Mephisto decides to make this tournament. Null Galactus picks his team. And obviously Mephisto chooses the team from 2099. Now Null Galactus takes people from all different eras and timelines and brings them in. And apparently one person is on, I don't know which side yet, but 3099 Spider-Man is somewhere, is on somebody's side. And it's going to be very interesting to see where this goes. I want to see if I can actually
get... Well, it's good to see you doing that again.
This will be happening again. So I'm very happy.
For me too, but yeah.
We're going to be getting back to the books.
Well, that's a nice page.
This is. I want to see if I can get... Because I said Mephisto gets the... Here we go. So Mephisto gets the champions of 2099, which is here. I figure if I have the physical book, I'll show y'all a little bit of the artwork. But no, Galactus takes heroes from all across the timeline. And what worries me is there are some heroes. There's like Spider-Girl, there's Miles, there's Red Hulk, Jean and Cyclops from the past. It's like, that's a lot of people that are going to be fighting on his side. But anyway, it ends with 3099 Spider-Man making his first appearance. Really, really good book. I like this book a lot. I'm looking forward to the end. I will be getting this physically. I was going to get it originally digitally. I decided to go physical, and there are 3 covers that I got for issue number 1.
That's the variant edition.
This is one of the variants, yes. I believe I got the main cover too. I just grabbed whichever one was on top, so I got this one. If you want to see the other variants, I might do a short for YouTube and a video over on TikTok. Keep an eye out. But I definitely recommend The End. It was a really good first issue. If you didn't read it, check it out. Issue number 2 is coming very soon.
Right.
Now, with that, we're done with the review. Thank you all so much for being here. Sorry, like I said, I'll edit so this way you don't have to worry about too long of a wait between me grabbing the book and leaving the table. Till next time, everybody, take care, keep reading, keep collecting, and we will see all of you really soon in the next episode.
Take care, everyone.